Hi, I'm Eric.
And I'm Dick. We're the Annuity Guys, and Eric, today we want to talk about how do you maximize income with hybrid annuities. And obviously, they're one of the most popular annuities out there right now, and so let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of the most frequent calls we usually get, and it's usually the call is, tell me which is the best one, which we've covered many times. That
Yes.
The best one for me is not necessarily the best one for you.
Everybody thinks there's this one annuity that's, if they just knew which one it was.
Just tell me the one, that's all I need.
Because there's about 3,000 or more of these, and that's probably on the lower side.
Right.
There's probably 4,000 or 5,000, but we know of over 3,000.
Right.
You would think that maybe one of them just rises to the top.
And it usually, there's a few of them that will usually rise to the top for each individual, depending on their situation.
Right. You can't just say that one's best, even though you maybe have 5 or 6 or 8 of them that are really favorable compared to the others. They each fit unique situations.
And so, all right. So now we're looking at how do we maximize the income from a hybrid style annuity. So you're looking at typically the utilization of the combination of the income rider and the payout rates are the two pieces that usually come into play with a hybrid style annuity. So,
well, and then you have to come down to how much money does an individual have to put into the annuity.
Right.
And folks, if it's just a smaller amount of money, and let's define smaller, maybe somewhere in that 100,000 to 200,000 range, maybe even up to 300,000, you might be considering one annuity.
And it depends on your income need too.
It does, yes, because there's, again, specific reasons why you'd use a certain annuity in each of those ranges, in that lower range. But the idea of using multiple annuities and laddering those annuities, many times, if you only have a lesser amount of money to work with, it doesn't make as much sense sometimes to ladder the annuities or to get too crazy with it. Maybe you diversify between two.
Maybe smaller rungs or less rungs, depending on your goal. Now, and when we talk about hybrid annuities, if we're talking about an income now strategy, there's a significantly fewer number of hybrid style annuities that are kind of that income now type of annuity. There are some out there, but that first leg, usually when we're looking at for a hybrid style,
can be maybe an immediate.
Sometimes if we're looking for getting maximum income,
or it could even be money that's pulled out of the assets,
cash reserves,
money market or something of that nature. But the idea, and I think you're leading into this, the idea is to get that money set out there in deferral and to ladder it at different stages where each of these annuities can kick in.
Yeah, I think right now with hybrid annuities, the sizzle, so to speak, is in that guaranteed growth amount for future income. And that's where we've got that predictability, reliability, and safety that makes the hybrid really an attractive annuity.
Well, and that's what's referred to as the roll-up rate or the guaranteed floor. There's several different terms that are used. But typically that rate right now on the hybrid which, the fixed indexed annuity chassis, that roll-up rate is somewhere in the neighborhood of 6% on the lower side. I've even seen it as low as 4%. But I've seen it maybe as high as 8%, on the high side, and pretty sweet spot in there somewhere around that 7% range.
Yeah, and without getting into the mundane details, some people have a higher roll-up rate, but then you'll notice that their payout rates are a little bit
when it's time to turn the income on, they drop at 0.5% or percent.
And that's why it's always looking at the individual circumstance for each individual, because just because you have a 10% roll-up on some of these doesn't mean it's going to be the best on the income side coming out.
Exactly. You really have to look at the net result, and you have to position each portion of that ladder based on the net result, and not pay attention to the sizzle. So the bonus, the roll-up rate, the payout, any one of those things could be superior in any annuity. But when you put it all together and you look at the net of what that what that leg, that rung of that ladder is supposed to accomplish, that's the key.
Yeah, it's accomplishing your goal at those set intervals and really structuring that portfolio so that that hybrid, and that is fulfilling its need. So 15 years out or 10 years out, whatever that need is, you kick it on and it gives you an additional bump of X percent. Or
so when we start defining those folks that have more money,
Yeah.
to put in this direction, typically what we will see, and I'm just going to throw a range out there,
Sure.
300,000 to maybe upwards of 3 million.
Sure.
And what we really want to structure there is an annuity portfolio.
Sure.
So it's separate of the overall portfolio, or it's a sub portion of that portfolio.
It's really trying to take multiple annuities and utilize them for what they will do best within a portfolio. It's taking that income now annuity and using it for the income now. It's taking those hybrid styles that have great roll up and deferral, guaranteed
Yes.
and deferral,
Yes.
using those for maybe ladder rungs 2 and 3, and then using a growth annuity that's going to regenerate principal is a whole different.
Well, and I love what you just said there about the growth annuity, because so many times folks will use a growth annuity in place of an income annuity, or they have this particular annuity that's been recommended that does both well, which I've never seen that yet. The growth annuity that does income well, or the income annuity that does growth well.
Yeah.
It's usually a combination of those that gives you the leverage to accomplish your goals, in both directions. So again, it's very important how you structure it.
Yeah, are you saying there's not an annuity that is your cake and let have your cake and eat it too?
Well, we're always talking about cake and eat it too, but probably in a different perspective, than what we're saying right now.
Exactly. So between leveraging tax strategies and other aspects with the hybrids, can we really, maximize hybrid annuity income?
Well, I believe that the answer to that is absolutely. But I don't think this is where the annuity salesperson comes in.
No.
I mean, I think it really does take a planner, somebody who really understands the advanced ways of working with these annuities and putting them together, interlocking them, and setting them out over time, and being able to demonstrate how that's going to work and what the guarantees are and the probabilities of achieving all of your retirement goals.